So my name is Sam. My pronouns are he, him, his. I am a wildlife keeper here at the Eco Tarium, so I take care of all of the animals that you guys see when you visit, which includes all of the animals outside as well as the animals indoors and some that live behind the scenes, like this wonderful snake that I'm holding here. So I've brought her out for this interview for a little bit of sunshine time and to also kind of talk with me about a pretty interesting thing that we'll get to later. So I get to take care of such a really cool, diverse group of animals. I mean, we have a lot of different species here. I believe there's 77 different individuals that live here representing about 40 different species. So the diversity of the animal species of my job is a pretty cool part. Obviously, diversity is kind of important to me too, but the animal part is really cool, so we get to kind of take care of them, make sure that they're healthy, make sure that they're getting the enrichment and the food and the social and every type of need that they might need. We try to meet that to the best of our ability.
Awesome.
Kind of getting involved in the STEM field and in animal care specifically, it's always been something that I wanted to do. I've known about wanting to do animal care since I was a little kid. It's just something that's always stuck out for me. Animals have always been a really easy thing for me to interact with. They're super non-judgmental, they're very interesting, so it's always been really easy to kind of get that passion going. So it's always been something that I've gone to school for and volunteered for, interned for, so now I have a full-time job here taking care of all the animals. So as someone who identifies as a transgender male, it is a little bit difficult sometimes putting my resume out there, just because my legal name hasn't changed yet, so that's always something that's a little bit more difficult because I don't always know how it's going to be taken. Occasionally I'll just not apply places if I'm a little bit worried, like with zookeeping specifically. There's a lot of different areas you can go. There's zoos all over the world and all over the country, and you know, occasionally there's certain parts of the country where you're like, I don't know if I want to apply there. But there's certain places that you can kind of get a feel for the work environment and just kind of figure your way out and make a point to kind of make sure that it's going to be the safest environment it can. I was very fortunate here because when I first came for my interview, my manager actually asked me immediately what my pronouns were, and it made it very clear to me that this was a very inclusive and safe place to work, so that was super helpful. For me, one of the things that I've always said that like immediately lets me know that someone is going to kind of be good to be around is just one of the simplest things you can do as someone who is, you know, not necessarily part of the LGBT community, is introduce yourself with your pronouns. I think that it normalizes it. I think it makes it a lot easier for transgender people then to come through with their pronouns without necessarily outing themselves as transgender. So I think that it's a really simple way that you can kind of just move that forward into a more progressive sort of mindset. So Kyle is a female ball python, but for the first 20-some years of her life, we kind of thought that Kyle was a male until just this last year, Kyle decided to pop out 6 eggs on her own. She's never been with a male ball python, but she did lay 6 eggs and potentially fertilize those eggs on her own. We didn't let them hatch to fruition, but she did lay those eggs, and she did kind of shock us by essentially revealing herself as a different sex than we believed to be all along. So it's just kind of an interesting thing that the animal kingdom isn't always as black and white as the world sort of makes it out to be. So it's pretty interesting to be able to talk about Kyle here and sort of that journey that she's been on as well.